Many of you have asked about a shop tour, so here we go. So just a quick pan of the shop. This is a 30 by 40 building. The space you're looking at is actually 30 by 30. It's where I do all the grinding and fabricating. I have another room which I call the clean room, where I do leather work and some machining and stuff like that. More of a low dust room. I still have some dust, but nothing like what's in here. So for now, we'll just start over here with the grinders. They're very old. Having been making knives for over 30 years, I haven't upgraded my grinders. This grinder here is that old. It's actually about 25 years old. I had one before this one. This one's a little newer, but not much, but I have various attachments for them. They are speed controlled with drive pulleys. It would be nice to have a modern grinder with a variable speed drive, but you just change out the drive pulley and change your speed. But I do all my work with those two grinders. I have a cutting rig set up over here, cutting torch, some belt storage. I keep my new belts elsewhere. Right here is my disc sanders. If you're trying to get handle material flat, or are you working on getting scratches out of a blade, flattening titanium, or anything, these things are awesome to have. This one is actually a DC motor that is variable speed. Coming down here, I got some drill storage. This is a rotozip that I used to use to cut the spring slot on a frame lock. Worked pretty good. I use my mill now, but you can cut nail nicks with it, whatever you want there. But I don't use it like I used to. I got a small drill here for drilling full tang knives. This is a pin press. This pin press was created by my father years ago. They used to sell them all over the internet, knife suppliers. I don't even see them anymore. But if you're making bolsters, this is the deal. I've been using this thing for 25 years. And just a workbench. I do some glue up here at this workbench. I've got a knife vise right here, very old, father made for me many years ago. I can change it out here and put a vise in that same spot. Here I've got a mobile router table that I can move around and use if I need it. A couple old do-it-yourself buffers, kind I don't recommend. They're high speed, so you need at least a 1500 RPM, not a 3600 RPM machine when you're buffing. These are high speed. I do not recommend them. And I've got some storage underneath, as you can see. This is just a fab table. One of the fab tables, some storage under there. I keep some coal for my forge under there, coal forge. I've got a wood saw here for cutting scales. Got a bandsaw here that I use for cutting steel. It's just a plate mounted on there. It's a variable speed, old Milwaukee. I've got it on a foot pedal. Works great. I've had a couple different ones over the years, but that works great. This is my large drill press. I drill handle materials and anything that requires large drilling. Works great. Okay, here's my gas forge. I run on propane. It's a single burner. I do all of my Damascus steel work, forge welding with that single burner forge. Works great. I am building a larger Don Fogg style. I'll show it to you in a minute. Various tools, a lot of scrap steel storage I use. I make a lot of tools and things like that. I've got other piles, some hammers, one of my older anvils. It's not an antique. I just bought it a long time ago. It's worked great. This is an older Fisher anvil. It belonged to my father. He was a welder and blacksmith. He had 2 or 3 anvils. I got his big one. Really love this old anvil. It's seen some hard times, but it still works great. And here's a Vivor anvil I did a review on. Good little anvil. I'll leave a link in the description if you'd like to see that review. And I've got some woodworking tools over here. I've got a table saw, old Craftsman table saw, still kicking, still works great, and a miter saw. Here's just some various storage. Coal forge, I can wheel it out of here. A lot of steel storage over there. So here's my DIY kiln. It is very old. My dad helped me make it when I first got into knife making. I've modified it some and changed elements out several times. Works great though. And this is the Don Fogg style forge. Actually, it's patterned off of one that Master Smith J.W. Randall made, and he gave me the dimensions for. It's my fab table where I do most of my welding, preparation for Damascus, that sort of thing. I've got a lot of dies just thrown under here. I don't really have it organized. Over here is a little small wood lathe that I use quite a bit for certain things. I can actually turn handle hammers on here, and I can turn the handle in an oval, a little technique you use. An old bead blaster that I just don't use anymore. If I do, it's to clean something. And my welding machines. I've got an old thermal arc that does lift, TIG, and stick. A Yes Welder 7-in-1 machine. I did a review on this machine. I'll leave a link in the bio. I really like this machine. It has a built-in air compressor for the plasma cutter. I can weld aluminum. Love it. And a Best Art plasma cutter that's really a beast in a small package. Love it. And this is my old horizontal bandsaw. It is pretty much wore out, but it still works. I do need an upgrade. Really need a bigger saw, but it has worked many years. And my forge press. I built this press based on Dr. James Basson's Forge Press book. I'll leave a link in the description to that book. It was invaluable in building this press. You'll see a lot of maker stickers on there, friends of mine. But this press is a 24-ton machine, and it does great. It's fast. You've seen it in some of my other videos, how well it works. I'm really loving this press. It's a couple years old now or so. I had an older one or a different one that I built that was an air over hydraulic that was extremely slow and no good. If you're doing high layer count mosaics and stuff like that, you really need something that can move steel quick, or you just burning yourself out and burning metal away over time, losing it to scale. But you can see that I've used stainless steel tubing on here instead of hoses. That really works great. I haven't never seen that done, but I had the tubing and the fitting, so that's how I built it. Really a great asset to the shop. Here's just some tool and steel storage. I keep all of my small hand tools and wrenches in these containers, cabinets. Really helps organize your stuff. And here is where I'll keep new belts. I just keep them in the boxes they come in. They don't get dust on them, keeps the moisture away, and I just grab one when I need it. Here is my small surface grinder. It is a Rotorex. Someone had this in their barn rusting away and gave it to me, and I restored it and turned it into a belt surface grinder. I have a video on how I did that, or an overview rather, in my bio there. My good friend Master Smith Steve Schwarzer took the chuck and cleaned it up, ground it for me. And I mean, it is beautiful. And I have scratched it up some, but I have used it quite a bit and I really love it. It's a game changer. Having a surface grinder, doing folders and things like that, this thing is a must. Here is just a metal chop saw on a stand. I use it for cutting bigger stuff. I don't really use it for knives so much, but tool making, cutting angle iron and stuff like that. And here's the latest addition to my shop, little wood heater. Put it in a couple weeks ago for winter hits. Still got a few more things I got to do, but I've already used it a couple times, just trying it out. Love it. And one other thing is I keep fire extinguishers in a few places in my shop. Safety is a must because you're in a fire hazard in a knife shop. Over here is my air compressor. I've been through several air compressors over the years. It does what I need it to do. It's not a major size, but does everything I need to do in a knife shop. And a sink where I can wash my hands and clean Damascus and you name it. So when you first walk in here, there is a bathroom here with a shower. We don't need to go in there. I've got a stove in here, little refrigerator, toaster oven, storage. You see it looks kind of like a kitchen because it was at one time. Just a quick pan here, the piano where I play Mozart and Chopin. No, not really. It is an heirloom that is going to be moved out of here to another location because I do have to put some more workspace in here. Coming over here, got a sink, got a small drill press. I use it for Kydex and leather. A arbor press that I use for Kydex. I use dies that are put in here for the different size Kydex eyelets and the matching pin or press. I have a couple different sizes that I use and I can easily swap them out by taking one out and dropping the other one in. Over here is my leather stamping, leather tooling table. Also do glue up over here. Here is my Vivor microscope. I did a review on this microscope a while back. I'll leave a link in the description if you'd like to see that. I've used it a couple times and I really like it. I'm going to be getting into engraving, at least doing some inlay work, and I really needed this. And I've got to get some more tools, but I'm really liking it so far. Also, this is my homemade leather saddle or stitching saddle. You've seen me stitch sheaths in this vise before. Works great, easy to make. If you got any questions about any of this stuff, just let me know in the comments. Over here is just my leather cutting table. I have to clean stuff out of the way when I get ready, but I just finished 3 big projects is why it's all kind of cluttered around here. I've got a Kydex press over there, and of course, entertainment. Okay, over here is my old jet lathe. This is another rescue tool. A good friend of mine had it. A tornado actually hit his shop and this thing was sitting outside and rusting up. I took it apart, repaired a few things, got some tooling for it, and does what I want. For knife making, it works great. It's a small lathe, but does great. And moving along, this is my bench top mill. You've seen me use these tools in quite a few videos. For knife making, it does just fine. cut a light on here. There are some issues with it. It is a round column mill. It's more like a glorified drill press, but it does the job. You can work around some of the issues with a round column. Just have to take more time for setup. Once you get it set up, it works pretty great. The thing I like about it, it's old and it's heavy. Even though it's a bench top, this thing weighs better than 500 pounds. I put DROs on it. It was another rescue tool out of a person's old shop. I took it and restored it, took it apart, cleaned it up, added DROs, some cheap ones, but they work. I've made a lot of folders and a lot of parts for knives right here. I mill all the guard slots with this machine. Hey, this is my main workbench. Starting over here, I've got a DIY electro etching machine. I've made several of these. I've had this one for quite a while, works great. There's ones on the market you can buy, of course. That little tool back there is one I made. It is a tap guide that I use when I'm making folders for holding small taps. Put the tap in a little chuck at the bottom and I can tap straight holes. Works great. I've got a lot of little small tools like that. It's kind of hard to go over in a shop tour, but this is just various storage for different parts and pieces, tools, small tools, end mills, you name it. Same over here, pins, a lot of pin material. And underneath here is handle material. I've got handle material in a few places. This is an old pan vise, or panavise they call it. I use it here on the bench a lot. Works great. It takes a long time to gather the tools you need to do what you want to do, and a lot of tools you don't need, but I feel like I never have enough tools. But I hope this gives you some kind of idea of what I use to work with and something that may help you in layout or what have you. I'm never really satisfied with the layout of my shop. This is the third shop I've built over the years and still not like I want it. I'm always moving tools around, that sort of thing, changing locations, you name it. But if you got any questions about anything I went over, maybe I went over something too fast, saw something you got a question about, leave them down in the comments. So I hope this helped you some kind of way, and I thank you for watching.